Curious minds inquire, what makes a great tale? A great legend? But that question yields no real answers. What you and I know deep down, what we feel at our core, whether you think you know it or not, is this: there is no such thing as a great legend without there first being a great hero. One legend rises and falls solely on the back of its hero, and we tell their tales to all who will listen. The difference between a mere human and a worthy hero comes down to one small thing. That thing is this: when the quest is laid in front of them, when the danger is nigh, when the peril is imminent, they see the path they must take. They set a course. They commit.
All right, students, listen, we're wrapping up a series called Commit, where I'm hanging with some friends, we're sitting around a fire, and there's something about a fire that I think just should motivate you deep down to share a story, share something personal, share a laugh, share a chuckle. And we're talking today about the concept of like not being prepared for something. And listen, I can't sit next to you, I don't know, but I'm assuming you guys in junior high have always been prepared for everything you've done in your life. But I wasn't that way. When I was a freshman, I was voted class president, freshman, Big Rapids High School.
I was gonna guess class clown.
Well, I ran unopposed in 8th grade, so I was automatic president. And your job as president is really pretty much nothing. You don't do anything. But I was in charge of building the float for the homecoming parade. Ooh. And my entire job was to design the float and prepare us to build a float. And I forgot to do all of it. And so basically, the night before the parade, I got everybody to show up, and we literally just had a trailer, and we just put blue construction paper on the side and put a big blue cardboard thing, and we just said it was a wave. That was our entire float.
Solid.
It was the worst float in the history of Big Rapids High School, and we had to go through the entire town sitting on that in an inner tube, just being like, this is bad, and you know it, and I know it, and it's my fault.
I'm sure everyone knew it was a wave, though.
Maybe, yeah, because I wrote wave on the side.
Because he was yelling at everybody, it's a wave.
It's a wave.
A few years ago, I was at this job, and I didn't realize people were actually serious about Halloween and celebrating it at this place. And so when they had talked about doing a Halloween lunch, I thought it was just the lunch. But I found out the night before, like, they were legit serious about dressing up. And I'm like, there's no way I'm gonna spend $80 on a costume to eat lunch in. And so I last minute threw together a Halloween costume. I was a bag of jelly beans. Guys, this is a great last minute costume. If you're needing it tomorrow, because it's not Halloween, just get a trash bag and fill it up with a ton of balloons, and boom, you are a bag of jelly beans.
Oh, I love that so much. That's great. I'm thinking about in college, has nothing to do with this. I was grapes one year, and I just wore a black onesie and duct taped green balloons to my body.
Oh, like Fruit of the Loom.
I was a grapevine, you know?
Not a grapevine,
I think of grapes.
Same concept.
Something you need to know about me, shocker, in everything I do, I just have way too much confidence. I walk into everything just thinking like, I got this, and in result, I don't have this. I don't got it. I was in 5th grade, and we had the spelling bee. Did you guys do the spelling bee?
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
Spelling bee, big deal, really big deal. And so our teacher gave us, a week before the spelling bee, this list of words to prep for. I took one glance at that piece of paper, and because I'm confident in literally everything I do, I was like, teach, I don't need this, crinkled it up, and I Kobe'd it in the garbage can. Literally just Kobe, poof. And so I went home, a week went past, the spelling bee rolls around, and I'm walking in like big man on campus, like, yeah, by the way, are you cool if you're good at the spelling bee? I don't know. Okay.
Maybe now.
Maybe now. Maybe now.
It's a big deal.
And so I roll up, first round, my teacher gives me a word. Taylor, spell autumn. In my head, I'm like, autumn. Come on, something harder. A-U-T-U-M. Autumn. she literally had one of those buzzers, and she's like, psych, it's AUTUMN. And like everybody's laughing in the background, like, he's an idiot. I'm like crying because I failed miserably, and I didn't prepare for this thing. And it ended up just biting me in the butt, man.
I think here's what's crazy. This whole series, we've been talking about like change is coming. Maybe from 7th grade, you're going into 8th grade, or 8th grade, you're transitioning into high school. And there's gonna be a moment in the near future where something hard is gonna show up, something difficult is gonna happen, and you're gonna have to make a decision like, am I gonna own my faith through this? We've been talking about ways that you can own your faith, and we think if you commit to being a part of a community, the CCV community, we think if you commit to engaging with someone and having a mentor, we think that you can have a way better shot of holding on to Jesus through this change. But the reality is oftentimes when the moment comes, you won't be around those people. You may be by yourself. You may be at home in your room. Something might show up, and in that moment, will you be prepared to latch on and hold on to Jesus in that moment? I think the only way you can do that is by making sure that Jesus is a part of your personal, like it's your personal relationship. You're not putting all your eggs in the community basket or the mentor basket. You're making an effort to pursue Jesus on your own, in your personal time. Man, we have CCV students, we want to commit to having personal time with Jesus. And this isn't just something that like pastors tell you to do. It's actually something that's modeled in the Bible, and it's actually modeled by Jesus.
Yeah, Jesus was actually like a celebrity of his time, if you didn't know that. And there was people flocking to be around Jesus. And they especially wanted to come to him because they knew that he could heal them of anything that was going wrong, any sickness or illness that they had. They were coming to Jesus. And so I love the way that it puts it in Luke 5:15-16. It says, "Yet the news about him spread all the more, so that crowds of people came to hear him and to be healed of their sicknesses. But Jesus often withdrew to lonely places and prayed." Jesus, even himself, needed to withdraw himself from the crowds, from all the noise and the madness, and just be alone with God to pray.
He had to make sure he was centered. He had to make sure he was prepared for the moment. I think we talk about moments, but Jesus actually was sent to earth by God for a specific moment, and that was to get up on a cross and be the go-between for you and I. He basically said to us, hey, we are never gonna be perfect. There's no way we can spend eternity with God. And so Jesus knew that he was gonna have to get up on a cross so that we, just by believing in him, could spend eternity with Jesus. But that wasn't gonna be easy. That actually was gonna maybe be the hardest day of his entire life. And leading up to that moment, he shares this in Luke.
Yeah, Luke chapter 22, verse 39 says this: Jesus went out as usual to the Mount of Olives, and his disciples followed him. On reaching the place, he said to them, "Pray that you will not fall into temptation." Jesus withdrew about a stone throws away, knelt down, and prayed. Students, this is where it gets good. Lean in with me a little bit. "Father, if you are willing, take this cup from me. Yet not my will, but yours be done." An angel from heaven appeared to him and strengthened him. And being in anguish, he prayed more earnestly, and his sweat was like drops of blood falling to the ground. Think about how intense of a moment this is for Jesus. Moments before he's about to take the cross for you and I, he's praying to his Father. He's having such an honest moment with his Father, saying, God, I don't know if I can do this. Even though Jesus was the Son of God, he has this moment where he's asking God, God, is there any other way? You see, in this moment, no matter how many mentors, friends, community, whatever was on earth, no matter how much Jesus had of that, none of it could help him. The only thing in this moment that could help Jesus was his connection with God. What was him leaning into his faith with God. Now, I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. This seems hard. This seems hard, Taylor. You don't understand my life. There's no way I could actually put this into play. Like, I might be 13, but I have the life of a 40-year-old. I'm booked. I have practice, I have rehearsal, I have mounds and mounds of homework. For some of us, if you're like me, we're just lazy. Like, we don't carve in the time to actually do these things, to have moments to connect with God when we need him most. Man, I don't know what it is for you, but I get it. It seems so hard sometimes to lean into a relationship.
I know for me, I need that personal alone time with God every day, like each of us do here. And it's not easy for us just because we're on this camera right now talking to you guys. I know for me, it used to be really hard to get personal alone time with God. And so something that I had to start doing is the first thing that I do every single morning is I open my Bible. And I don't do that because I'm holier than anyone else. I had to like set some standards for myself. So literally, if I don't open my Bible in the morning, I can't go on social media and I can't work out. I had to add in the social media because I don't work out as much as I used to, but I do go on Instagram way more than working out. And so if I want to go on social media or if I want to work out, I need to make sure that I've opened my Bible, and that's helped me a ton.
Yeah, I know a challenge for myself is trying to carve out more time to have that alone time with God, to really connect with Him. And one of the things I'm not perfect at it, but I'm getting better, is to start my week on Mondays. We have a small neighborhood. It's about a 5-10 minute walk around our neighborhood. And I'll leave my phone at home and I'll just walk around our neighborhood for 5-10 minutes. Really no agenda other than, hey, I'm just gonna connect with God right now. I'm gonna set the table for my week and just connect with God so that He can show me what my week should look like.
I like personally have gone through a bunch of seasons and what it looks like to have personal time with Jesus, whether it's getting up early and reading my Bible. Right now, my wife and I are going through like the same devotional together, which is super cool. But something recently for me that's been super helpful is I now have a 20-minute drive to work. And I've just been trying to be super intentional with claiming that time. I have a 20-minute drive to work and back, and I'm intentional about listening to like just a devotional app, or listening to a book that is encouraging me spiritually and helping encourage time with Jesus. And as you're like sorting out what it looks like to pursue Jesus on your own, you don't have to dive into these. Like these might seem like a lot, they might seem difficult. It could be as simple and as practical as setting an alarm on your phone every day and just pausing for 60 seconds and just being in that moment, being still and appreciating the relationship that you have with Jesus. It could be writing a verse down and putting it in your locker and seeing it every day before you go to class. It could be getting the YouVersion Bible app, download it on your phone, and just opening it every morning to see what the verse of the day is. You don't have to commit to this super intense regimen, but you should commit to something. Because we want to make sure that we're students. When things get difficult, when things are hard, when the community maybe fizzles out, when our mentor isn't around, we want to be students that have a personal connection with Jesus. Students, if we want to be Christ-centered difference makers, we have to start with being Christ-centered. And that starts with spending time in His Word, spending time in the Bible. Students, let's be students that commit to community, let's commit to having a mentor, and let's commit to having personal time with Jesus. Students, your faith matters. And when we're sitting around this fire, and what we want more than anything is to talk to you 2 years from now and for you to still be as engaged with Jesus as you are now. Students, we love you, engage. Hey, let's commit to being Christ-centered difference makers.